movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Cinemaniacs podcast. I am your host, Maceo, also joined with my co-host,
Matthew.
And as always, we're here to talk about movies, games, and TV shows. We got a lot of news today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got Renfield. We went and saw Renfield. We got the new episode of The Mandalorian. Got the John Wick spin-off show, The Continental.
John Wick.
Got a bunch of stuff. We got Blade news. We got a whole bunch. So I think we can go ahead and jump right into it.
Yep.
First off, this first piece of news is not even something that I saw by myself. Thanks to our friend Trevor, sent this to me.
Okay.
He sent me this trailer for a Gremlins animated TV show. I don't know if you saw this, but this thing looks terrible. This looks like awful.
Gremlins animated TV show. No, I have not seen that actually.
Yeah, it's supposedly it's taking place in like China, and they're turning it into like an action adventure series, like the history of the Mowgli or like the Mogwai or whatever they were called. The Mogwai, yeah. It's really weird.
Okay.
They're like turning it into like an adventure thing, like a whole lore.
Yeah.
Instead of a Christmas horror film, you know? It's very weird. It's very strange. It doesn't look all that great. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that was one thing. He sent that to me and wanted us to say something about that because he said it looked terrible, and it does. It does not look very good. The Penguin show, the spin-off of the Batman with Colin Farrell, has started production. Yep. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting for sure. Gonna see how it takes after the events that happened after the Batman and everything.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's probably gonna have a lot of things that have to do with what happens in the Batman Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
probably sets up a whole lot.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of exciting things for the Batman too.
Yeah, I heard some theories that maybe the Penguin becomes like mayor or something like that, or somebody in his like control or whatever, that he's basically gonna get in like a higher standing position. I mean, it's his own show,
right?
Know?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be rising through the ring, and they kind of set the Penguin up like that anyway, with having Falcone be like the actual main guy in the first one, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely, I can see that definitely happen. We got a trailer for The Continental.
Okay.
The John Wick spin-off show.
Yeah, I heard about this, but I did not see the teaser for it. I did not watch it yet.
It's gonna follow Winston.
Yeah.
Ian McShane's character, a younger version of him.
Okay.
We only get like a quick look at him in the trailer. He doesn't even say anything, I don't think. But just based off of like what we see in the trailer, it looks like it'll be interesting, but there's not a whole lot to go off of right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Here's some interesting news in business. HBO Max and Discovery Plus have merged and become a service called Max.
Yes, Max.
And it has announced its new shows that it'll start off with. Those being an It prequel series called Welcome to Derry, and it releases 2024. A Game of Thrones prequel series titled A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight. A series based in the Conjuring universe.
Okay.
And a new spin-off series from The Big Bang Theory.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Where the Big Bang Theory already has a spin-off.
Yeah, it's Young
Sheldon, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are they making a
Young Leonard.
Yeah, Young Leonard next.
Young Penny.
Like, come on.
I don't
know about that one. But the Conjuring series could be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see a whole lot of horror shows around that much. You know?
Yeah, I don't either.
It's very much like Stranger Things dominated in terms of like horror shows, and
Horror.
Stranger Things is like they're not necessarily horror anymore. I mean, they have like kind of scary-ish moments, but not like horror moments.
It's more like season 1 was definitely horror,
Horror, yeah.
but it's more moved into like almost like just like superhero sci-fi,
some science fiction, fantasy kind of stuff. Yeah,
which fits. But
oh yeah,
I wish they still had the horror element.
But I think a Conjuring show could definitely. I personally wasn't a fan of the last Conjuring movie. The Devil Made Me Do It. It was
That sounds
the Conjuring
terrible.
3. It was a. It's actually based on. Well, all the Conjuring movies are based on real stories.
Right.
But the one that they did the third one on was like around this like huge like scandal or whatever, I guess, or controversy where like this kid instead of like like when like some people are in court or whatever, they can like claim to be like insane or whatever like that.
Plead insanity. Yeah.
Well, he like it was like the first official case of someone pleading that like the devil made them, that they were possessed by the devil, and that's what they did like the murders for or whatever. And then that's like what the movie follows and stuff. But it turns like the dad, I forget what the two like the husband and wife that like go do all the like the Conjuring stuff together. The dad, bro, it literally turns him into like an action hero in this movie.
Fuck?
And I know it because like that dude who plays the dad, his name's like Patrick something, I think, and he's in a bunch of horror movies. He was in Insidious as well. He's like the dad in Insidious.
Yeah.
But he's in a bunch of horror stuff. Yeah, but it literally turns him into like an Avenger basically in like the third movie. So I was like, yeah, I'm good off that.
It's not the actor that is in Aquaman, right?
No, it is. Yeah,
it is.
It is that guy. Yep.
That's who I thought.
And then the Game of Thrones prequel. Haven't heard any information about. I do know that there's multiple great Game of Thrones like spin-off shows coming out. I don't know specifically about the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight. I don't know specifically about that one.
Could that be is that Kit Harington's
No,
show?
I think his is just called Snow.
Okay.
Just like off Jon Snow's name.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think by far the most interesting out of these is definitely the It prequel series.
I think so too.
Welcome to Derry, for sure.
Because it has obviously a very strong set of movies backing it up.
Yeah.
The first movie is one of my favorite. It's almost not horror, but it still is horror.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite horror movies. Is the first 2017 It movie.
Yeah.
Second one, I enjoy the second one a lot too, more than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So I'd say it has a good back.
I did hear the big controversy about this show is that Bill Skarsgård is actually not confirmed yet to return to the show, which is like the main thing that the show needs.
Okay.
For sure. But I don't see them really doing the show without Bill Skarsgård.
Why wouldn't they?
I
feel like they wouldn't even. I feel like if he were to be like, "Nah, sorry, I can't do it," I feel like they should just be like, "We're not doing the show."
Yeah, we're not doing the show.
Like, he's the selling point of those movies.
Yeah.
That's a little strange.
So yeah.
But anyways,
that's the new streaming service. So it's HBO Max will officially be called Max. Yeah. And Discovery Plus, which I don't know if from the people listening right now, there's probably like 2 people maybe subscribed to Discovery Plus. Maybe that.
I don't know who uses
Discovery Plus is gone now.
Yeah.
It's absorbed.
Was it even there to begin with?
Like, I think so, but I don't know what specifically Discovery Plus had, like other streaming
nature documentaries.
Yeah, I guess.
About it. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Max now. I'm assuming everyone's still probably going to call it HBO Max.
Yeah.
Just because that's like the first name that they did. But
right.
Yeah.
Just like how technically Facebook is Meta now or whatever, but we still call it Facebook.
Yeah, no one's calling it Meta.
No one's calling it Meta. How are we feeling about that title though, Max? That's so boring.
I don't know. Yeah, it feels very boring. I don't mind I don't know, HBO Max was just it was better than just Max. Max feels weird.
It is very strange. It's like, hey, what streaming service are you subscribed to? Max.
Oh yeah, Max.
Who's Max?
Yeah, who's Max, man?
So it's not a streaming service. It's a guy that actually like brings me my movies and stuff. Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of streaming services, Disney Plus released their trailer for Muppets Mayhem.
Okay.
A show that I personally am kind of excited for because I love the Muppets.
Okay.
And the recent things that Disney Plus has been putting out for the Muppets has not been good, like at all.
Yeah.
But this actually looked really good. It's a show that follows only the Electric Mayhem, the band. So it follows them, and it goes off the premises of how in like 50 or like 60 years of these characters existing, there's not like one album that they've ever put out of like their original music.
Yeah.
Of the Electric Mayhem, you know. And so that's what the show's about, and they'll release an album probably.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a part in the trailer that caught me off guard and made me like belly laugh, and there's a part in the trailer where they get a recording studio, and it's like real nice, it's like real professional.
Yeah.
And they walk in, they're looking at it, and Animal is looking at it, and he turns around and he goes, W. like dub, like win,
Yeah.
like W. I was like, no way they made Animal say W. But it looks like a lot of fun. But who knows? Because Disney has no idea what to do with the Muppets now, and I'm hoping it's good. But
yeah.
But that's all the news I had.
Okay.
How about you?
I can get into some of the movie news I got.
Yeah.
Start off with a good one, something juicy. Like The Boys season 4 has wrapped filming.
No way.
So we previous commented on how Anthony Starr had finished all his scenes as Homelander for season 4, but now it's confirmed that everyone is done filming scenes for season 4 in general.
Yeah, the show's done.
Yeah, they're in post-production now.
Let's go.
So that's pretty big.
That is big.
It's gonna be people are speculating it could be sooner than we think. We could get The Boys season 4 like trailer and like advertisements and stuff for it like end of this year type stuff.
I think it's possible with like, it's clearly like not the biggest budget show, you know? So I think it's possible we could get it like at the end of the summer maybe.
Okay.
Like maybe they're like, let's pump it out.
I could see that.
Let's get it out there.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but The Boys.
Can't wait for it.
I can't wait for we started this podcast after season 3 came out, so it should be known that we are big The Boys fans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love The Boys.
Yeah, all the way. Next we got Pedro Pascal and Ethan Hawke are set to star in a short film, a gay western short film called Strange Way to Life.
I saw this.
Yeah. So I saw some pictures. I didn't see like an actual like trailer or like teaser or anything from it.
Yeah.
And I usually don't watch short films, but I might tune into a little Pedro Pascal, Ethan Hawke, Brokeback Mountain interpretation kind of stuff.
Might have to check this out.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have checked that out. That seems like it could be nice. Michael Cera and Kristen Stewart are set to play husband and wife in a road trip comedy called Sacramento.
Yes, I also saw this.
So
this is some, yes.
That's I honestly like that duo a lot.
It's
honestly.
a weird it's like weird, like you wouldn't think about.
Yeah, but I feel like they have like that awkward kind of humor.
Yeah.
And even though like they both are kind of older, I still feel like it would be a fun movie. Kind of have like that good awkward charm.
Yeah, they could definitely pull off a newly kind of young married couple.
Yeah.
In today's world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this actually has to deal with an actor that we recently interacted with.
Oh.
Clint Eastwood's new film, possibly his last film.
Yeah, right.
Is called The Juror Number 2. and it is starring Toni Collette and Nicholas Hoult.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and it has no set date or anything, but it's set to start filming pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Nicholas
So
Hoult and Toni Collette. That's a
yeah,
good
and they
pairing.
could be in Clint Eastwood's last film, possibly.
Bro, they've been saying that Clint Eastwood's last film, his past 3 films.
Yeah, so you never know, obviously, but
I,
he is like 80 something or
yeah.
something like that. So
I remember when the trailer came out for The Mule, like his movie The Mule, that he's like
okay,
the star in and he directed it. I remember when that came out and it literally was like Clint Eastwood's last movie. And then he made like 3 movies after that. And so I don't know. I just don't know what to believe anymore.
actually, I honestly don't think I've seen a Clint Eastwood directed movie. I'm pretty sure
Really?
yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't. I don't think I have.
If you've seen a Clint Eastwood movie, it was probably directed by him too. He directs a lot of the stuff that he is in.
Yeah.
I don't know that
I don't
any
think
of.
I honestly I might have seen like nothing where he's like in a serious role or anything like that. I don't think.
Have you seen Million Dollar Baby?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, watch Million Dollar Baby.
Hilary Swank and stuff, yeah.
He directed it, and he's a very serious character. That movie is sad. That's a sad movie.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really good. It's really good.
Next is Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. Official runtime 3 hours and 54 minutes.
Oh,
Making it the longest film in his 6-decade career in film.
no way.
3 hours and 54 minutes.
Bro, The Irishman is 3 hours and 30 minutes. I thought that was like the peak. I thought he wasn't gonna go past that.
Dude.
We're gonna need a couple days to watch that movie.
Holy
Wow.
man.
Wow, 3 hours and 54 minutes.
Bro, 6 minutes shy of 4 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta take a day out to watch that. That's crazy. I mean, it'll probably be good, but
That's gonna be wild
yeah.
for sure. Oh, and they dropped there was a first look or like a teaser trailer dropped for a Kristen Stewart and Stephen Ewan Love Me romance movie. Looks like a kind of rom-com with the two of them in it. So
Interesting.
that could be a cool little check out to see.
Yeah.
Got a sci-fi drama called Foe will be released this fall. And Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal star as a married couple, and it's a sci-fi. So
Okay.
two big actors, sci-fi movie this fall. Nice. A24 erotic thriller called Baby Girl, set to or they casted Nicole Kidman.
Oh.
And Jude
AMC lady.
and Jude Law as well.
And Jude Law.
Basically, Nicole Kidman plays a 40-year-old woman, married woman to Jude Law. She's married to Jude Law, and she has an affair with a young intern in the company, and it's an erotic thriller. So it's probably going to be some like,
right,
like
some mystery and
some sex, probably.
Some sex. Yeah, that's what
Interesting. Season 2 of House of the Dragon has begun filming. They started filming a couple days ago, so that's pretty good. T. West Maxine, starring Mia Goth, has started filming as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I honestly think that comes out this year. I think later this year.
Yeah.
I think
considering they pumped 2 movies out last year and they filmed them both last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, and then this one isn't super big news, but I figured I'd throw this in because like of the recent Oscars and everything. Timothy Chalamet will work with vocal coach Eric Vetro for his Bob Dylan biopic, which is the same person that Austin Butler worked with for Elvis.
Oh, okay. So he's going to be talking about like Bob Dylan.
Yeah, so everyone's been like, oh yeah, he's going to be stuck with the Bob Dylan voice.
Yeah.
Now.
Whatever that might sound like. I don't know what Bob Dylan sounds like in real life, but interesting. Okay.
So yeah, that was the movie-based news that I had.
That was your rundown.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, now we can jump into some Marvel-related news. We got a good amount right here. Let's start off a little bit more on the Jonathan Majors controversy.
Okay.
Apparently, Marvel Studios is reportedly looking for someone to replace him in
I did see this.
in case everything turns out to be true.
Yeah.
So it says that they're looking for a Damson Idris type, the actor Damson Idris.
Yeah.
Why don't you just cast him?
Yeah.
I never got that when they were like,
weird.
we're looking for someone like this
type
actor.
of actor. Yeah.
Just hire the ad actor, if he
Yeah.
wants to do it. But they're looking for a Damson Idris type actor to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang if needed. Yeah. So it already looks like they're kind of preparing. Yeah, I don't know though.
But Damson Idris, he wouldn't be bad.
I don't know that I've seen him in anything.
Obviously, I don't want, obviously, I hope that, Jonathan Majors and nothing, I hope nothing happened and everything.
Right.
And, obviously, and hopefully he stays on as Kang. But obviously, if something did happen, he should be replaced and stuff. And
yeah, I agree.
Damson Idris would be a pretty good. He's not a bad, especially if it's good to know that they're looking at that type, I guess, of actor.
Yeah.
I guess that's the bright side of them saying like that type of actors. They're looking at least someone like him, I guess, which I don't really know what exactly that means. Like a fit black dude. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess.
Like I don't really know, but cool.
Yeah, I mean,
as long as he fits the part,
Yeah, right. You're right. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out to be true because Jonathan Majors he's been so good.
Yeah, he's been great.
And it would be a real
and,
shame.
I mean, and also with Loki season 2 and everything, he's literally in that. So
yeah, literally adding on to the character.
Yeah,
even more than Ant-Man did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a real shame if it turned out to be true and they did replace him. But
yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
For sure.
Obviously, they don't want someone who may be guilty of a heinous crime.
Yeah.
Representing their entire film line coming up for the next 10 years.
Antagonist, the main antagonist and everything. Yeah.
He's literally the face of the studio
playing
right now.
A bunch of different characters and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not. Yeah, it's not like Thanos. It's not an animated face. It's not like the CGI face is like the face of the new movies coming out. It's a person. It's a dude that we could look at right now,
Yeah.
So, we got the Marvels trailer.
Yes, we did.
Before we give any thoughts on that, apparently it is already Marvel's most disliked YouTube video, beating out what I believe originally was the first Captain Marvel trailer.
Okay.
So, I think that says a lot. I think that alone shows us who is doing this.
I honestly think regardless of your opinion on that, I feel like that fact right there kind of just shows an inherent bias.
Yeah, it does.
In the fandom obviously that's like not exempt from like movies in general, but that's a big thing with superhero movies and Marvel movies and stuff like that is the women hate and stuff like that. That's crazy that is that true? It's actually the true. Most holy.
Yeah. So it's already the most disliked trailer or YouTube video on Marvel's YouTube channel.
Holy.
So
beating out the first one.
Yeah. I would like to say that if
neither one of them really deserved that.
Yeah, they really don't. But the first one definitely, like, after having seen the movie, deserves it more.
Yeah,
just because the new one looks like it would be a lot of fun.
Dude, the new one. Yeah, so I guess that kind of segues into like our thoughts on it and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one looked like pretty fun. I thought literally the only like kind of, and it's not even a major issue, but the only like thing that I didn't like was Miss Marvel's new costume. I wasn't the biggest fan.
Yeah,
I liked her in the show. That her show costume was really good. But I liked Captain Marvel's costume, and I liked Monica Rambeau's costume as well.
I think they both look really good.
So and I like all the powers and stuff. The fight scenes look great when they're switching in and out.
Right.
It looks pretty good. Honestly.
It does.
It looks fun at least.
It does. And we got is it Songjun Park?
Oh yeah. I think it's something like that. Yeah, Yeah,
It's a guy. One of the isn't he? Is he in like? He's in a K-pop group, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He we got our first.
He looks like an antagonist or something.
Yeah. He is, I believe. I believe he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he looks like a emperor
Yeah, he
kind of
did.
villain or
Yeah.
something.
And we gotta look at Zawei, the actor. Dang, what's her name? She's Tom Hiddleston's wife, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zawei Ashton.
Okay.
Yeah. She's playing the villain in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's cool. Tom Hiddleston's wife.
Yeah.
Joining the MCU. That's
and
cool.
It looks like she is the new Ronin character. So Ronin the Accuser. Okay. She's got the same hammer, and there are people that look like Ronin behind her. So it looks like she might be taking his place after Guardians of the Galaxy, after he died. So it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's the little fight scene between the three of them.
Yeah.
They all feel like they have good chemistry together so far. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. That's another thing. Nick Fury's in the trailer.
Yeah.
So it kind of disregards any theories you might have about Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be better than the first movie, definitely because the director is a lot better. The director of this one is Nia DaCosta, who did the new Candyman movie. I don't know if you saw that.
I heard about that. I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I saw it in theaters. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't awful at all. It was definitely. It had issues, but it was definitely directed very well.
Was Jordan Peele like a producer on that movie too, or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it actually the actress that plays Monica Rambeau is in the movie.
She's in Candyman too?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we've actually already seen her being directed by Nia DaCosta.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The movie looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked fun. The trailer looked good.
I don't think it really deserves
being the most disliked Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I love the concept of every time they use their powers, they switch spots.
Yes,
I love
that's
that.
Awesome.
That's such a cool concept.
And using it in the battle and everything too it looked great.
Right.
And I can't wait to see it in the movie. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. I think people are really sleeping on it right now, and it'll turn out to be pretty good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, some more Marvel. We got Steven Kapicic and Marina Baccarin or Baccarin. I never know how to say her last name, but basically the actor that plays Colossus and the actress that plays Vanessa in Deadpool are both confirmed.
Yep.
Confirmed coming back for Deadpool 3. That's great. Yep. I think Marina as Vanessa is a great addition. They have great chemistry in the movies together.
For sure.
That's probably the weakest part about the second movie is that they basically took her out of it for most of it because they kill her off in the second movie.
Yeah.
And she's not in it for very long. But Steven Kapicic as Colossus is surprisingly a really good casting. When they first did it, he's really good. I really don't see the reason to get anybody else because he's obviously he's a voice. I don't know if he does the mocap, but he's his voice really fits this version of Colossus a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they're bringing back all like the Deadpool cast of characters.
Right.
Know? So that's pretty dope that they're paying homage to the entire movies that have came before even like the smaller characters like the like the blind old lady is coming back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the like taxi driver guys coming back.
Right, the Pinder, yeah.
Yeah, those guys coming back and stuff. That's big, I think. The small stuff goes a long way.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
They're really driving home the fact that this is in fact a sequel to the original Deadpool movies that we've already seen.
Yeah.
Everybody but T.J. Miller is coming back.
Okay.
We got We officially confirmed that Sylvester Stallone is coming back
Oh yeah,
for Guardians 3.
I saw like a little like shot of him or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting Stallone's coming back as Stakar Ogord, Starhawk. Also in Guardians 3, the new TV spot that came out, Nathan Fillion, who is one of James Gunn's old friends, and he's in like almost all of his movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the Suicide Squad. He's Arm Fall Off Boy. He's
Oh,
the guy that
okay.
detaches his arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in a lot of movies and comedies and stuff, and he's a great actor too. So he was in the most recent TV spot for Guardians, so he's confirmed to have a role.
Nice.
Um, but arguably the biggest piece of news I think
Yeah.
that we got this week, to me was
Yeah, probably.
Mia Goth has been casted in Blade, and it's rumored that her character will be Lilith, the daughter of Dracula. There's a lot of Dracula going around right now. A lot of Dracula.
I did not hear that part about her being rumored to be the daughter of Dracula. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
But Mia Goth joining the MCU. That's pretty big.
Yeah, she's definitely the modern queen of horror.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, she's been in so many big horror titles for the past like 5-6 years, really. And especially with A24's and T West's like X and Pearl, she's really taken off, with the in the horror game and stuff like that. So seeing her join Blade, obviously being like kind of like the perfect MCU project for like a big horror person to get into.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect thing to do. It was very unexpected though. Like she seems like the kind of actress, to me at least, that would be like, oh no, I'm not doing those Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like that's just the kind of vibe I get.
I'm not gonna do that Marvel shit.
But they must have dropped the bag on her, and she was like,
yeah, she was like, no, I don't want to do it, and they were like, $12 million. your first and only time, probably.
And but yeah, Blade. That sounds awesome for her to be in Blade.
Yeah, I think she'll kill whatever role it is, but it is honestly most likely to be Lilith.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
She's just like a random like side character or something.
Yeah, she's a goon.
Even worse, she's just like an original character that's just like bland, a bland sidekick original
That
character.
would suck. That'd be terrible. That would be so disrespectful to her. Man.
It's even worse when they like film their scenes and they like think that like they're more important than they are.
Yeah.
Or they at least like sell it like they're more important than they are. And they're like in the movie or the show for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, exactly. They're like, we got this actor, they're gonna be in the movie. For their big character dies in the first 2 seconds of like being on screen.
Yeah, which is funny. It's funny that we're making fun of that though, because Deadpool did that, but in like the most like hilarious kind of.
Well, when Deadpool does it, it's different because it's funny.
Yeah, they did it with Brad Pitt in like 2 seconds on screen. That was the funniest stuff ever.
Well, because with Deadpool, it's like, it's Deadpool.
Yeah. They're obviously like laughing, like, hey, look at this.
Yeah,
look at this
we got
funny
Brad
thing.
Pitt
Yeah.
to be in our movie, and he's in it for 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's not even like a full, or I guess it is. I was gonna say it's like not a like full like face shot. It's more like him flashing or whatever.
Yeah, it's really like a frame. It's like one frame of just.
It doesn't even look like him at first. Like you're looking at it, it doesn't look like
bro.
Brad Pitt.
If you look up the picture on Google, because obviously if it's just a picture, it's not moving or anything. It looks very weird because it does not look like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
For a while, I casted that it was Brad Pitt out of my mind, and for a while, I don't know when this happened, but Matt Damon replaced him for a while. For some reason I thought Matt Damon would cameo in the movie, but nah, it's definitely Brad Pitt.
Matt Damon cameos in another Marvel movie. He cameos in the Thor movies.
And those are good cameos too. But not the Brad Pitt Deadpool stuff was definitely a great satirical way
So
to
funny. And then they got
to
him back, got Ryan back in Bullet Train. They did the
yeah,
exact same thing
yeah.
to him. It's so funny.
That was perfect.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. Well, I guess now we can talk about the things that have come out this week.
Yep.
Which, let's start with Mandalorian. So, Mandalorian episode 7.
Episode 7.
I thought it was probably okay. It's probably one of the best episodes so far. But
Okay.
my problem with it is that it is really good. But they decided that this season is going to have a plot in the second to last episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they waited so long to be like, here's plot, guys.
Yeah.
Finally, here's something going on.
Yeah, it's really like here's your narrative. Finally.
Yeah, finally, it's got narrative. Yeah. This isn't really a spoiler because they've been teasing it forever, and people have probably already seen it, but it's not really a spoiler. But Moff Gideon comes back.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon comes back in this mustacheless, no mustache anymore.
Mustache shaved, new armor.
Yeah, which by the way, it felt kind of weird, no mustachey. Kind of.
Oh yeah, dude, the no mustache felt weird.
It feels like it's like part of the character.
Yeah.
And they got rid of it. So, but
he feels more like Gus, to be honest, from Breaking Bad.
He really does.
Even though he did even with the mustache, but now without, he feels more like Gus and like Moff Gideon, to be honest. But I do like his I like his whole like armor fit.
Dude, his fit is hard.
Yeah, bro.
His Mandalorian armor is hard.
It looks good. And it is kind of cool that he's like, I want to exterminate all Mandalorians and take the planet for my own. Honestly, that's kind of cool. That's not a bad little storyline, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's the issue, is that the storyline is good. Yeah. And we were introduced to it in the last episode.
So late in the season, yeah.
Like almost final episode of the episode.
Where Giancarlo, he literally said something in like a interview or to press something about like, he was like, oh, when you see me, it's gonna be big.
It's gonna be big.
And he comes in the second to last episode, and it wasn't really. I mean, it was kind of. There was some big stuff that happened, but it was more so like, oh, tune in next week.
It really
that's
was.
When the big stuff.
It really was. Yeah.
That's kind of what it felt like, at least.
It was It was them saying, we have no other villain for this show. We have to bring back the only one we have. No, but it was a good episode.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And surprisingly had some emotional bits to it, with that one Mandalorian going in and sacrificing himself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
and also Mando at the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, or whatever, he goes, "I will follow you, Bo-Katan, anywhere.
Yeah.
I will be your companion."
I'll be your companion. Yeah. He basically, so
he devotes himself to Bo-Katan now, I guess.
Yeah. But I think Bo-Katan is still the villain of the show.
Honestly, I'm more sus on the armorer chick now.
Dude, she's weird.
You are Mandalorian no longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that chick. She's definitely got sus vibes.
Yeah.
Some people have theorized that's where Moff Gideon got his new Beskar armor from.
Oh.
Was from the armorer.
Hey, that makes sense.
That could be
They've
crazy.
definitely been teasing, like, it's weird that she is so strange.
Yeah,
and, like,
so mysterious.
Yeah, like you saw.
She always just like appears, you know.
Right, exactly. Like you saw Mythical. Good for you, dude. Good job. I'm really proud of you that you saw that. Instead of like, I'm jealous and now I'm gonna be evil, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they did that, but maybe they'll come back and with another twist, you know? 'Cause clearly the twist was supposed to be Moff Gideon's alive.
Yeah.
We know.
We
knew that.
You really knew that as soon as like the whole like rebel like fighter or whatever went to go check on the freight or whatever that was containing him, and he was like, "I knew it. He never made it to trial." Of course he didn't, you idiot. And then all the corrupt dudes like, "Oh, dude, well, we're not gonna do it." Like the short haired chick, the short haired chick. Remember that they've been
Yeah,
showing all season that
yeah.
she's been like,
She's like a spy.
yeah, she's been like doing the dirty work and stuff for
Right.
Moff Gideon, I guess, behind the scenes and stuff.
By the way, where'd that scientist just kind of disappeared?
Well, I guess her purpose, I guess that was literally her purpose was like to lead up to like the whole Moff Gideon reveal.
I guess so, yeah.
It's like the whole, I guess, he's infiltrated the good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know who to trust.
Yeah, you don't know who to trust. It's just one person, clearly evil person.
Just,
that is
yeah,
like,
just one person.
it's one person, not even trying hard to hide it either. Like, just clearly evil. Yeah. It was a good
It still
episode.
wasn't a bad episode, though. It was a pretty good episode.
It was pretty good. That is literally the only problem I have is the fact that it's like the show's good, you know. It's like it's been enjoyable, but it is like finally good, like
finally
actually like
going somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But it's the last almost
Yeah,
second to last
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
So hopefully they go out with a bang, and the last episode is really good.
Bro, yeah, we need like best Mandalorian episode of all time type
To save
stuff.
it, yeah. I think they really hurt themselves by announcing the fact that they're doing a movie with the Mandalorian characters to like culminate the 3 seasons of Mandalorian, basically.
Yeah.
Because I think they did that so people would kind of disregard the fact that this season isn't that good. Because I think if they hadn't done it, they would have just been like, people just would have been like, what was the point? It's just not, it felt like you had nothing to do the entire time. I felt like you didn't really have a reason to do this season other than to have 3 seasons, you know?
Yeah.
And I think they announced it to be like, well, we're actually giving the good story to the movie. So, we only have one story left to tell, and we're just going to do it in a movie. So.
Yeah, it will be interesting how they leave this off to go into the movie. Especially since it doesn't sound like they're like season 4 is planned before the movie. So it will be interesting to see how they leave off Mando's character. Especially if he doesn't show up in Ahsoka. Because if he doesn't show up in Ahsoka, then there's no like confirmation that we're seeing Mando again until the movie.
Exactly, yeah.
So.
But I mean, seeing Pedro Pascal as Mandalorian in a movie, it's on the big screen.
Yeah.
It's a nice. I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah.
This is actually the first time like I've been excited for a Star Wars movie because I've actually followed this character and this story since it started.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice for me. I honestly enjoy this version of Star Wars a little bit more than the Jedi. I honestly enjoy the bounty hunter kind of side of things a little bit more. But no, the episode was good, and I'm excited to see how they culminate it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, now I guess we can talk about Renfield. So Renfield, if you don't know, somehow Renfield is the movie about Dracula's assistant, like the real life, like in lore, Dracula's assistant, Robert Montague Renfield. And they made a movie about him. And it's about like their toxic relationship, and it's a very modern take on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was fun. It like purely was fun. Like,
yeah. I mean, it had like it had good themes and stuff. Like the themes were like pretty nice with like you said, the showing their toxic relationship and stuff, and like wanting to like improve like yourself, I guess, and stuff like that. But the film itself obviously isn't like one that you can like take that serious and stuff with like with how much of a satire it is and stuff, and how much comedy there is and everything. But it's still still fun, obviously. It still has the gore. It has the camp and stuff. It's
very gory,
you know? And it has it has those like, you know, them campy kind of just like laughing at like how outlandish some of the moments are, you know.
It is. I think the strongest part about the movie is probably the relationship between Dracula and Renfield. Definitely the strongest part.
Like when they're on screen and stuff together. Yeah.
Every time they're on screen together. which is kind of unfortunate because there's like moments, like a lot of the middle of the movie is like them not being on screen together,
Yeah.
and it kind of hurts it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the best part about the movie is them two together and their relationship, and the actors Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage are both really good.
Yeah, for sure. They yeah, both Nicks, if you would,
Yeah.
are both very good in their roles here. Nicolas Cage obviously has more of a kind of extravagant performance to put on as Dracula.
Right.
But Holt still gives a really good kind of emotional
Yeah.
performance,
Yeah,
like
there was a moment where he cries, and it was
yeah.
like, dang,
Yeah.
he's actually putting some
Yeah.
acting into this.
There was some pretty decent emotional portrayal, especially like you said, of him crying like in sadness moments and stuff like that, and of like his therapy session or his group therapy sessions and stuff, like talking and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some pretty good acting scenes in there for both of them. Obviously Nicolas Cage is like
Bro,
a legend.
Nicolas Cage is probably overall he's probably the best part about the movie.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely if you have no reason to watch the movie, he's definitely the reason to watch it.
He's definitely a big enough reason to go, for sure.
Definitely. I think where the movie kind of struggled a bit was it obviously it didn't take itself too seriously most of the time, but when it did, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Because Aquafina's character is like they build up they like talk about her relationship with like her father, and it kind of drives her character for about half the movie, and then at a certain point in the movie her motivation starts being her sister, and like they talk about how like literally they like mention the fact that she doesn't have that great of a relationship with her sister, and every time we've seen her talk to her sister it's been like about work, and other than that they seem like they were sisters still. They seem like they're still pretty close.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get that. I was like, well, I don't really feel this, that you really don't have that you really like have a bad relationship with your sister. It seems like you still like are on good terms, you know?
I thought I think the scenes that did try to take itself too seriously specifically are the scenes where like she's like getting emotional about like her father's like death or like passing or whatever, because like I don't know, it didn't really feel like it didn't feel relevant to the movie.
It didn't. Yeah. It didn't really have any, because it was obviously the movie is like about like relationships.
Yeah.
But I think
For sure.
I think if the movie focused on her relationship with her sister only, like never talked about her father, and it was like her relationship with her sister, and they showed that it was like not that good, it definitely would not be a real complaint, you know?
Yeah. I still kind of, I will say this about Aquafina in this movie, her comedy and stuff isn't like as overbearing and stuff as it is in a bunch of her other stuff. She's way more tolerable.
They definitely didn't let her improvise.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing.
Yeah. And honestly, her with Nicholas Hoult, though, honestly, true, her with Nicholas Hoult was pretty good, like, actors as well. I thought they were pretty good on screen together.
She held her own, for sure, against someone who's as good as, like, Nicholas Hoult, you know? Yeah, I'm not a huge Aquafina fan. I think she's probably the worst part of like Shang-Chi. She's probably like the most, like the least tolerable thing about Shang-Chi. And that movie's great, but she's like the only thing that I would tweak. And it's because Marvel was like, we got a famous comedic actress in the movie. We got to let her just go off. We just got to let her have fun. No, don't stop letting Aquafina have fun. She's not that funny. She really isn't. I think she's funny when she's given like professionally written lines, but when it's clearly just her like off the riff, it's the movie is like humor wise, the movie isn't like the best because there are moments that are like laugh out loud, but for the most part, it's just a lot of
yeah.
it's just a lot of
I
like
get
nose
that.
exhales, Um, but I think it's still fun. It's definitely still
Yeah.
a night out.
Yeah.
It really is the kind of film like, oh, we got nothing to do today. This is playing at the theater. You want to go see it? Yeah, let's go see that.
Yeah.
And I really don't think you can go into this movie like, or come out of the movie. I don't think you'll come out of the movie loving it at all.
Yeah.
But I really can't see a reason why you'd hate it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it too.
Yeah.
There's like there's stuff to like and there's stuff to kind of dislike, but there's nothing that I feel like very strongly about the
Yeah.
movie about, you know?
I really, yeah. Truthfully, the only thing I could say that I feel strongly about is Nicolas Cage. Like,
Yeah.
I know that I really enjoyed his performance. I know
Yeah.
he was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage's Dracula was like weirdly perfect. Like I didn't expect it to be
Yeah,
like as good as it was.
It was very well portrayed by him and stuff.
Yeah.
There was he had his own special like touch to it. I feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
that kind of wasn't expected.
Yeah.
From
No.
a Dracula role.
Yeah. He was genuinely like terrifying in some moments.
Yeah.
I mean, a little goofy, obviously.
Yeah.
It's goofy throughout the whole thing, but it's still like there are moments where he's like talking and when especially I think the scene that I think of the most is the scene where he comes into the therapy session.
Yeah.
Definitely some good like kind of creepy like, oh no, man, I actually don't want him to hurt any of these people.
Yeah.
But that's also because they do a good job kind of making these characters likable. And
Yeah,
like
the
therapy
therapies.
group.
Yeah.
No, but it was enjoyable. It was definitely a fun movie, and I don't regret watching it, but I will never watch it again, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's our Renfield talk.
Yeah, that is our Renfield review.
It's our Renfield review. Now we can go ahead and jump into what did we watch this week.
What did we watch?
What did you watch?
I'll start out with something a little more mellow. Got a Secret Window, which is a 2004 film starring Johnny Depp, and it is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel called Secret Window, Secret Garden.
Okay.
It is based around a writer. So Stephen King makes a story about a writer.
Oh, wow.
By the way, Stephen King makes many stories about writers, if you didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
The
Like
Shining also is about a writer. There's a bunch of writing stories. But also John Turturro is in this movie as well. Mm. And he plays a very interesting, kind of flamboyant, kind of cowboy role. And it's very... It's pretty funny, but it's like it doesn't seem like it's supposed to be funny.
A lot of flamboyant cowboys.
Yeah. The movie's a thriller. It's like a horror kind of, or well, not a horror. It's like a psychological thriller, basically.
Okay.
And it's a lot of like there's a lot of like following Johnny Depp's character, and there's a lot of him going insane or thinking he's going insane kind of moments, you know, and John Turturro is this he's like this other writer that accuses Johnny Depp of plagiarizing his story towards the beginning of the thing. Johnny Depp's character though says that he didn't plagiarize it and he has no recollection, and he basically plays like that throughout the entire movie essentially. And the movie entirely, it basically just tries to keep you on your toes like the entire time. The thriller aspects are okay at best. Like, honestly, for a Stephen King story, you'd probably be expecting a little bit more in terms of like, some scary moments or like at least some like good, like shocking twists and stuff.
Yeah.
But the twist is not good. It's very played out. It's even in 2004 it was played out.
Wow.
Now it's like it would be like like, don't even try.
Don't
basically.
do it now, yeah.
But the problem with this movie though is that a lot of the story, it takes itself serious. It has a serious tone. There's death, there's murder, there's serious stuff, there's serious stakes going on.
Yeah.
But at no point in the movie does any of like the performances or directing or anything convince me that anyone actually cared about this movie at all. Everyone literally, they feel like they're like all like in on like a private like inside joke about the movie or something. Like, oh, what if we make this thriller movie and everyone like acts bad in it, kind of.
Like yeah, what if we made this awful movie?
Yeah, literally, that's kind of what this feels like.
Like, literally, it's like you and your friends hang out. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if we did this really stupid thing that we'll never do? And then they did it.
Like, bro, I could honestly see, I don't know, I could see, like, absolutely probably no one enjoying the twist in this film. The twist is so bad, bro. Like, I literally don't understand. Obviously, you know, opinions are opinions. Everyone's got one and everything, but
yeah,
I don't. This twist is done better in any other movie. This twist is done better in, literally. Wow. And it's a Johnny Depp movie. I like Johnny Depp, but. And he's not even that bad, but he too is not even taking this movie serious. That is like apparent.
Okay.
Especially in the last 15 minutes when he takes upon a Western kind of Southern accent.
Wait, he like adopts an accent in the last 15 minutes of the movie?
Well, there's like context behind it, but it's just goofy. It's very campy, very goofy.
Oh my.
Maybe if it took itself a little more, like, maybe if everyone actually like cared about the movie or something.
If there was love and care and thought put into the movie, it would be good.
There could have been something here. The story is one that thinks itself as like more complex than it actually is.
Okay.
I ended up giving it 2 stars on Letterboxd and I think like 3.5 out of 10 on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Wow. That does not sound very good. I'm also going to start off with one that was kind of, not bad, but kind of a letdown. Was Last Night in Soho.
Okay.
This movie is fairly recent, 2021, I believe. It has Anya Taylor-Joy and Matt Smith and Thomasin McKenzie.
Yeah.
Who is I've only ever seen her in one other film, and that movie is Jojo Rabbit, and she's really good in that. She's incredible in Jojo Rabbit. This movie was, it's good, so it's a thriller, and it's Edgar Wright, so it's the guy that directed Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
It did not feel like one of his movies at all. I think if I went into this not knowing it was Edgar Wright, I would definitely not have put it together that it was Edgar Wright at all. It's a thriller about that kind of goes past and present. It's a girl who has visions of the past. She basically rents this 1-bedroom apartment one-bedroom apartment. She rents it from an old lady, and she's going to college, and she doesn't like being in a dorm, so she gets her own place. And she's very that's kind of the thing about the movie, is the joke is like, this movie is for anybody who is like, oh, I wish I was born in the wrong generation. I wish I was born in the 80s or the 70s, because this character is literally I was born in the wrong generation. I should have been born in the 60s. She has visions of like this old sex worker who ends up going on like a killing spree or something. Anyways, and she tries to figure out this old like case that never really went through or something like that. And it's good, but it really never like grabs you. Like it never really makes you wonder who did it, you know?
Yeah.
It I don't know. The twist is good. It's an enjoyable enough movie. The directing is great. It's Edgar Wright, and you can feel like his like inspiration on it as a director, but it never really felt like his inspiration. And I think this was his first time doing like a kind of a horror movie, because he did Shaun of the Dead, but I wouldn't consider that a horror movie. That's a comedy. Um, but there's a lot of horror aspects. It does. I think the movie does a good job implementing this kind of weird, different kind of horror element, which is like a horror of a person who, a sex worker who is like haunted by the memory of all these like different men.
Yeah.
And I think it does a good job doing that, and it's definitely a movie that a lot of people would be like, women, it's kind of a eat the men kind of movie,
Yeah.
But it's not bad in any way for doing that. I think I gave it like a 6.5. It was enjoyable. It was definitely enjoyable, but I was expecting a lot more, and it just, I don't know. It kind of disappointed in a sense. It was it kind of moves pretty slow in the beginning, and then it picks up towards the end. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
Okay. Okay. My next movie I'm gonna talk about will be Limitless, which was a Bradley Cooper starred film that I watched today, actually.
Okay.
And it's basically Lucy, which is another film that I watched pretty recently.
Right.
With Scarlett Johansson, where she unlocks 100% of her brain, gets like superpowers and shit,
Yeah.
becomes like a computer. It's weird, but Limitless is that, but without all the fun stuff, basically.
Okay.
So without all like the action and stuff, it's like if Lucy like actually took itself like pretty serious, and
Like what
also
actually happened.
yeah, and it's like Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper's character is a writer, another writer protagonist movie, and he has writer's block. That's like his main problem. He can't think of anything to write for his book or whatever, and he has a friend or whatever or some connection that gets him a pill that can unlock the rest of the percentage of his brain, and it basically makes him like kind of superhuman, but like not like exactly like, so he describes it as like kind of like a high kind of, but
Okay.
it's like he turns super intelligent and like yeah, basically for the duration that the pill lasts, he gets like these kind of like super abilities basically, like
Oh wow.
super intelligence, and he looks up at his ceiling and he sees like math equations and stuff. Yeah.
That's kind of corny.
He knows like martial arts that he like watched as like, bro, he literally, so this is like an example, I guess. He watched Bruce Lee as a kid, and he remembers the moves that Bruce Lee did on TV as a kid, as an adult after unlocking 100% of his brain.
Oh my.
So I guess he fully mastered the moves just by watching them through Bruce Lee. So yeah. It was honestly, it's a pretty goofy movie. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, it sounds really
there's a lot
goofy.
of goofy editing, bro. And every time he takes the pill, they turn up the saturation of the colors so much. It's like
What?
it's like they're trying to separate. They're obviously trying to differentiate the he's high versus he's not high kind of world. But after a while, it's just like they do way too much. It's
Yeah.
like it literally there, bro. It's like there's parts of the movie that are like animation, bro, because they got so much like editing going on that it's like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost not even just film.
and there's some story there about like not getting like consumed by like drugs, I guess, or whatever, but the problem is that, and the movie came out a while ago, like 2011. So I'm gonna slight plot spoilers ahead. The like kind of like the reason why I don't really connect with the movie a lot at all is that the the ending, the main character Bradley Cooper, he goes through this phase basically where he's like gotten like very successful from this like pill, right?
Right.
And he like, and it kind of like, so his character kind of seems like he's like, so he like is go so he made all the money and stuff, but he kind of has been like a bad guy. It's kind of turned into like sort of a bad person on his way to
Right.
get there.
Yeah.
So it's like he realizes that, and now he's a good person, and he's gonna give up the pill or whatever, the pills and stuff, be 100% true self, and have the good parts of the pill still or whatever, basically. The good feelings that the pill made him feel and everything, right? So he'll basically be like the best version. But the dude uses his money to come up with a solution where he doesn't have to sacrifice anything. He makes like a perfect like chemical equation or whatever for the pill. So the pill's like perfectly balanced out so it doesn't have any negative side effects and it only has the positive stuff. And he's like, the movie like kind of portrays it like he's made a change or something, but there really is no development because he didn't sacrifice anything. There was no sacrifice to be made. He didn't give up the drugs in the end.
Yeah. So in the end, nothing changed.
Nothing. Yeah, there was no change.
There was no point.
And also, Robert De Niro is in this movie. I honestly think Bradley Cooper has some maybe like blackmail information on Robert De Niro because there's no rhyme or reason why he was in this movie.
Oh, wow.
He's literally just like intimidating Wall Street higher up. That's kind of, and it's Robert De Niro, so it's kind of like when you see him and it's like, oh, that's Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
But then like, it's like after a while, it's like that's like the only thing the movie has. It's like, oh, Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro,
right?
Look at them, and it's like that's cool.
I feel like there's a lot of movies that I look at and I go, how did they get Robert De Niro to be in this movie? There's a lot. He just has a lot of blackmail. Wow.
But
you know what's funny is you describing that. It sounds like it's just a movie about a dude who takes drugs and feels like he's like superhero, and then,
basically, yeah. It feels like a dude discovers Adderall for the first time or something, basically. But honestly, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, but I think I'm gonna change that right now to 2.5.
It sounds like
it's directly in the middle. 2.5 stars out of 5. And I think on Instagram I haven't done the review yet, but I probably will give it like a 5.
Okay.
So it's about dead in the middle.
Okay.
It has there are some cool aspects of the movie, like with like the beginning of the movie in particular feels more grounded. It doesn't feel like, oh, he's making billions of dollars off this drug, and it feels more grounded. Like the story's going in a more like down to earth kind of direction. It doesn't take that direction, but that is there. And also Bradley Cooper gives a pretty good performance, and Robert De Niro gives a pretty good performance.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good actors. They're not they're not just gonna be like really bad. Like
all of a sudden. Yeah.
They're it's good at performances. It's an A movie.
Yeah.
It's an A movie. Yeah.
Was it better than Lucy?
I would say it's better than Lucy, but Lucy I would watch Lucy before I'd watch this movie again. Because Lucy at least has some fun, like, superhero action kind of stuff going on. Literally, Scarlett Johansson basically turns into, like, a robot.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper just is, like, I don't know, he's like a Wall Street guy, kind of.
I like that they're like, what if you unlocked 100% of your brain? You would just become, like, a fighter. You just know how to fight. Like, why is that the only thing that people usually go to?
I don't know. And he's like, oh, he knows languages now. And the only way that they know how to showcase it is put the dude at a random culturized restaurant. And he just randomly speaks the native language to the waiter in New York City. You're in New York City. This dude goes to a Korean restaurant at the end of the movie and just speaks Korean to the random waiter. I'm like, dude, that's like kind of weird that you're just assuming that dude. Because bro, think of it here. You go to a Chinese restaurant, speak Chinese to someone. You don't know if they're speaking Chinese or not. You go to an Indian restaurant. You don't know if someone's speaking Indian or not. I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like that's the only way that people. Because I think they do that in Lucy too. I might be wrong, but I think they do that in Lucy. Man. I think that's the only way that they showcase, like, oh, this person knows other languages.
Yeah, they automatically just know how to speak something else.
Yeah. They know culture.
Yeah.
Basically, that's kind of how it feels. But the movie itself is, yeah.
Yeah. Man, just going to Rosetta Stone, bro.
Yeah, go to Rosetta
Stone. Just take some speaking classes, just some language classes. Huh. Well, this week I watched Death Proof, which is one of Tarantino's films.
Yes.
Actually, I found out it was originally a short film, part of a much larger film that is like, it's like two short films or something. It's part of like the Grindhouse something. It's like the same cast. So like the cast in Death Proof is the cast in the other movie that's a part of this larger movie.
Okay.
So the actual movie of Death Proof was actually extended for a theatrical release by itself. So the second half of the movie is very clear. Like you watch it, it's very clearly like not the same movie. Like it's a different movie, or it's part of the same story with the same like antagonist, but like in a different movie still. You know. So the beginning of the movie is the first half of the movie is it's Kurt Russell. He plays stuntman Mike, a retired stuntman who basically just goes around and doing stunts and killing people with them. Like he literally like just like does car stunts and kills people with the car stunts. It sounds pretty goofy, but it's honestly really cool the way they do it.
Okay.
Both parts of the movie like culminate into a stunt basically.
Yeah.
And so they usually, the first part builds up Mike and like who he is. And like why he's out doing this thing, it's because he's just like a sociopath and he wants to kill, people.
Yeah.
It does a good job like showing off like these like obviously like character moments. It's got the acting is pretty good. It's Tarantino, so there's a lot of great dialogue.
Yeah.
The cast is mainly female. It's like everybody but Kurt Russell's a woman in this movie.
Okay.
And so I think that's a pretty interesting thing, is to have basically an all female led Tarantino film.
Yeah.
This definitely, I think this was Quentin's excuse to get the most feet shots as possible, because this has like the most feet shots I think of any of his films.
Probably. Usually there's like one in like most of like the big films.
There are. I didn't count, but if I went back and counted, I could probably like maybe like 20. I'm not even joking. Like there's like a lot of feet shots.
Wow.
Actually, there's a moment when Kurt Russell like tickles someone's feet. It's really weird. It's really creepy. No, Kurt Russell does a great job playing this like creepy, psychotic dude. The second half, or the first half of the film, I would say is stronger than the second half, but the second half action wise is incredible. It has Rosario Dawson in it. It has Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it. I believe those were like the two names that I recognized off the top of my head. But I think what hurts it is the fact that it is like two separate stories and they have like no connection between the two of them.
Yeah. And
it doesn't really like. The ending is really random and abrupt. Like when they kind of have the moment of like, oh, we're gonna get this guy back for the things that he's done. First of all, they don't know what that he did to this like other group of girls. Mm-hmm. When we see him next, it's literally like he kind of like terrorizes them on the road, and then at the end they literally like go after him because he like terrorized them on the road. So these girls like are like, wow, that guy was a dick. Let's just go after him and kill him. Let's just kill him. The ending is hilarious, but it was probably intentional, but it's hilarious because it's so over the top and abrupt. Like it just happens. Like this thing just like insane normal people do this insane thing to this man, and then it just goes the end. It just goes the end. That's all. It's definitely obviously it's a Tarantino movie, so it's basically just a revenge story.
Yeah.
But I think what hurts this movie a lot is that it's a revenge story, but none of the people that were like personally involved with like the original thing that makes it a revenge story knows about that thing. So the thing that would then make it a revenge story, nobody knows about it. So they're just kind of going after this guy that was rude on the road.
Yeah.
And I think this movie lacks a lot of story and is mainly just like character moments and action. The action is crazy. It's a fun movie. It's heart racing.
Okay.
But yeah, I give it like a 6.5. It's a lot of fun. Definitely watch it.
Okay.
But it's probably Tarantino's weakest film. That I haven't seen as many, but obviously not many people talk about this one, and there's probably a reason for that. Okay. So, but no, it was fun. But.
All right. Okay, so my next movie is Little Miss Sunshine, which is a like a family kind of road trip dramedy kind of movie, and it's I really like it. It's got a lot of heart to it. It's got a lot of the cast is really stacked. You got Toni Collette, who big Hereditary, a bunch of things.
Right.
Steve Carell needs no introduction. Paul Dano needs no introduction. Abigail Breslin, this is a pretty famous child actress. She's also mainly known for being in Zombieland. She was the Emma Stone's like younger sister in Zombieland or whatever. She's also in Signs, an M. Night Shyamalan movie and stuff. But yeah, she's a child actress here. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston has like a 2-minute role or like 2-second role in this movie. It's really funny. Yeah, Bryan Cranston and Dean Norris, who plays Hank Schrader. Both of them are in the movie for like 2 seconds, and it's pretty
together.
Funny. No, not together. They don't interact together, but they're both in the movie.
That's hilarious.
And it was pretty funny to see them. But the movie is about essentially the Little Miss Sunshine title comes from the daughter wanting to compete in a beauty pageant in California with a younger beauty pageant, obviously,
right?
Called Little Miss Sunshine, and so the draw of the movie is that there's a person or a character here for basically like anybody. Like there has to be like some kind of person here that you relate to, because like all the people differ so like greatly from each other a lot.
Yeah.
And Steve Carell's character is probably, I don't know if he's the most interesting, because he doesn't get a lot of like he gets a fair amount of emotional screen time dedicated to him, but not like as much as some of the other ones like Paul Dano or the daughter. But Steve Carell plays this like depressed gay uncle, and it's a pretty kind of heartwarming role for him, honestly. And so he goes on the road trip with his brother's family and their dad, who is like the grandpa or whatever, and I still got Nazi bullets in me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the movie has a very Wes Anderson kind of feel to it, by the kind of lightheartedness of it, like how lighthearted it is. Like it even treats like death and things like that like not that serious. Like it treats it serious, but it doesn't like dedicate a whole lot of time to it. Like it doesn't like sit there and let it just like rest on like the the sadness of like a death or or the emotional sadness of some of the scenes in the film. It just goes right onto the next, and they continue like nothing happened basically. Like so, they continue cracking jokes and just acting normal basically.
Yeah.
Kind of like how I feel like kind of how Wes Anderson deals with death in some of his movies, where some of the characters are kind of like, oh, that person died.
Yep.
Well.
Oh well. Yeah, it's just kind of okay.
That's kind of how it is in this movie, but there is a little bit more emotion kind of given there, and but the whole movie though it's a dramedy. It's supposed to make you like cry and laugh a lot and relate to this family, and definitely succeeds in that. Paul Dano's character is very relatable. He literally doesn't talk to his family. Like he literally like his like for the first like at least 30-40 minutes of the movie, Paul Dano literally does not say a word because he just doesn't like his family, so he doesn't talk to him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like an emo teen,
Okay.
And it's a pretty good role for him. Toni Collette, I think Toni Collette's character could have gotten a little bit more characterization because her character is kind of her just being a mom, and sometimes just being a mom is good enough characterization, but in this scenario, it's literally just like, oh, she's like just like emotionally supporting everybody and like stuff like that, but she doesn't really develop any like personality beyond like just being there for everyone, I guess.
Right.
Which is, that's cool that she's there for everyone. She's being a mom, obviously.
Yeah.
But character wise, I need something a little more than just mom.
Yeah.
The daughter story, Abigail, played by Abigail Breslin, is actually really good because it's like a body positivity kind of story because because she's competing in a beauty pageant, and when she gets to the beauty pageant, she starts worrying that because she's a little thicker than some of the other girls, she has a bit her stomach sticks out a bit more and stuff. So so she gets self-conscious about her body essentially, and that's kind of what her character arc is that she's young, obviously she's prone to comparing herself to others a lot and stuff like that,
Right.
and obviously it's a pretty relatable thing for for people to do. So it's a pretty good story. Covers a lot of bases. Pretty good dramedy. I would definitely watch for sure.
Wow.
Watch with your family too, because it would be like, I don't know. I mean, if it's a movie made to be watched with your family, literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you give that
I
one?
ended up giving it a 8 out of 10, I think, on Instagram, and I give it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Nice. Wow, that sounds really good. I watched a famous Roku original movie, Weird. The Weird Al Yankovic story, or I guess it's just Weird the Al Yankovic story.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about this movie already, it's not an actual biopic. It's a satire. It's making fun of actual biopic films. Like Weird Al like does things in this, like he literally like goes to like Pablo Escobar, and like executes Pablo Escobar. Like it's a wild movie. Like it I think it does a good job being a satire.
Yeah.
It does a great job of not taking itself too seriously. And even when it does take itself seriously, it is honestly pretty good.
Okay.
But for the most part, it is a lot of there's not like a whole lot to say because it is just like a satire. It is like, like in the beginning of the movie, he wants to be a singer and he's like making up words to songs, or he's taking words to songs and like changing them because he's Weird Al, and his dad is like, no son of mine will be changing words to songs, and he's like songs are one way, they're meant to be sang the way they're written. That's stupid that you would do that. And like he gets an accordion. Like a salesman comes to his house, and there are bits and pieces of the story that are true. Like a salesman did come to his house and sell him an accordion that's like how he got into it.
Yeah.
And like they record his first song in a public bathroom. Like that's real. That actually happened. But there's like this salesman comes in and like knocks on their door, and he comes into their house and like showing Al the accordion, and his dad comes in and he's like, "What are you doing to my house? Stop showing my son this contraption," and he beats like the shit out of him. And he's like, he's just beating him to death, and it's like just things that did happen.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like Alice talked about on like shows when the movie was coming out, he was like, yeah, my parents were actually like really loving and supportive. And so it's just so funny. But I don't know, it's a little weak because it does balance a lot out. Like at some point it does kind of become tiring. Like the whole point is that it's like not true, and at some point is like, okay, well, yeah, I know it's not true. Yeah. You know, it is kind of like it's over the top, and I'm like, okay, when is this gonna be over? This could have been shorter, you know. Yeah. And it's funny because at first I thought it was gonna be kind of grounded, like not real, like things like in the beginning when the dad like beats up the dude. I thought things like that would happen a lot more, but it goes off the rails. Like it goes. Like he like dies at some point. And he's like, and it's like this movie was made in memoriam of Weird Al Yankovic, who died tragically in like 1983 or something. And it's yeah, like he goes to like the jungles of the jungles of Mexico or whatever. And he's like he kills a bunch of drug dealers and drug lords. It's yeah, and I love there's a moment in the movie we are never shown that like he fights at all, and at some point in the film his girlfriend gets kidnapped and he starts like karate, like he like takes on an entire army. But speaking of his girlfriend, the best thing to come out of this movie is the fact his girlfriend is Madonna in the movie. This movie makes Madonna the villain. Her entire character is that she wants Al to make a parody song of one of her songs, and obviously in real life he did.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole point. She just wants to do that because there was a thing, and I believe it was a real thing. It's called the Weird Al or the Yankovic bump. Is a real thing. It was whenever he put out a song or a parody of a song. Obviously that's the sales of that would go up, but the sales of the real song would go up too.
Yeah.
And so a lot of artists saw their songs go up. And I believe that's a real thing. If it's not, I mean, it sounds like it would be, you know, It's like clearly like, why wouldn't it? But like so Madonna sees that and wants it for her own. And, and, Evan Rachel, I can't remember her last name, but she plays Madonna, and she's really good. But this movie, like he comes out with "Eat It," and it's "Treat," which is like the parody of "Beat It."
Yeah.
And like in the movie, he makes "Eat It" first. He makes "Eat It," puts it out, and then like a couple months later, "Beat It" comes out. So they treat it like Michael Jackson and all these different stars are like making song parodies of his songs.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he says like there's like a running joke throughout the whole movie is like he's like, I hate Michael Jackson for doing that. But the movie itself is like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing too special. Daniel Radcliffe is surprisingly good as Weird Al. He's like a ripped Weird Al. Yeah. It's so funny. But it was all right. It was like a 6 out of 10. It's a lot of fun, but at some point it does kind of go off the rails, and it's like, okay, this is a lot.
Okay.
But definitely I saw a lot of people giving it crap when it first came out, like because it was a satire.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's a weird. I feel like it's perfect for a Weird Al movie to be a parody of like real life like song movies based on music artists.
Yeah.
His entire shtick is that he's a parody artist. That's perfect. Right. So I mean, I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
It was definitely an enjoyable film.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So my next one would be Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Which is a Wes Anderson movie.
Yes.
And a stop motion one at that, or animation. Film. It's a combination of it's a lot of stuff, but mainly stop motion, animation. Those seem to be like the main categories it falls under. Also like comedy, family, bunch of those too as well. Obviously adventure probably, but the story is it's a pretty nice one about a Mr. Fox, obviously, and his family. I think the most compelling part of this movie is how it's literally for everyone. So the past movie I talked about, Little Miss Sunshine, I said that it has about a character for everyone, someone that they can relate to. This movie, the entire story is like has something that someone can grab onto. I feel like and like or love even, and it even goes. So this is obviously a movie that I think that when you watch it, you can definitely see you can definitely see like a kid being very very entertained by the movie, but you can also see like if you're watching it as like an older person, you be yourself being entertained by the movie as well, which is a great thing it does it has a bunch of different age humor, and I kind of felt that throughout the movie. Like there are jokes that are tailored to some audiences more so than others.
Like What the Cuss.
Yeah, exactly. But they're done in good ways and like funny ways. And Wes Anderson is always good at having like humor and stuff in his movies, but Fantastic Mr. Fox just has some of the most just like wild, batshit crazy kind of humor out there. And it's just like literally like Willem Dafoe playing a rat doing a southern accent kind of funny stuff. But it also has like some of the most emotional moments in like all his films as well.
Yeah.
Like one scene that really got me was when Mr. Fox has a conversation with his son at the end of towards the end of the movie, and like basically all of Mr. Fox's son, his whole character basically is about like kind of wanting to make his dad kind of proud of him, or at least wanting to make his dad acknowledge him.
Yeah.
And literally, Mr. Fox does this at the end of the movie. He acknowledges his son and basically tells him that he's always been proud that his son is who he is, basically, and that he loves him for who he is. And but the way it's handled is such a Wes Anderson thing that like Mr. Fox just like walks away, and or I don't know if he walks away or if he just stands there, but either way he doesn't like the focus isn't really on him. They just stand silent for a minute after he says his feelings. Mr. Fox says his feelings to his son, and no dialogue is said. His son just like bursts out with tears, bro.
Yeah, the tears just roll.
Yeah, the tears just go down his face, bro. And I was like, bro, that was such a beautiful little moment. Yeah. Like it wasn't even a huge scene. It wasn't
they never are.
It wasn't like the music starts going and the acting. No, it was literally just like, hey, son, I've always been proud of you for being who you are, And it's a very raw, emotional moment. And also, I kind of get the same feeling later in the movie with Mr. Fox when he meets the wolf as well, and he confronts his phobia of wolves. Or as I like to interpret it, it's more so him confronting his true nature, the nature of like being a wild animal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really I like how like his kind of character also has like a silent cry, kind of, how he has like the silent like tear that rolls down, and he just has like the fist up. Yeah, I just I don't know. I thought that there's a lot. It's simple. There's a lot of simple stuff in Mr. Fox that is just done so right. It's done perfectly. I love how Wes Anderson's style translates to stop motion. Like it's crazy how much I feel like there's so many directors that could go from live action to stop motion, and it would be like their style just wouldn't communicate through that barrier.
No, there's no difference between his animation and his live action.
Yeah, yeah. But his Wes Anderson's all his films have that vibe. You know, they all have that same feeling, and Fantastic Mr. Fox has it in some of the best ways. It really does. I think I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd and a 9.5 out of 10 on Instagram. But I think it could go up higher because this is a very rewatchable film.
It is
like an extremely rewatchable film. It's very short and it's fun. You know, it's fun, lighthearted, emotional, a lot of stuff to like.
Yeah.
So Fantastic Mr. Fox was fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
I like the scene. I like the scene where him and his wife talk in like the waterfall area.
Yes.
And she's basically like, I like shouldn't have. I love you, but I shouldn't have married.
Yeah,
you.
I love you, but I shouldn't. Yeah, that was a real scene, bro. That was a really real scene,
bro. And in what could be considered like not a kid's movie, but a family movie, like a wife taking her husband to the side and be like, "Hey, I shouldn't have married you.
I shouldn't have married you." Yeah. that was a good scene.
Just like the realest like love story of all time.
Absolutely, like... that was great. And the voices: George Clooney, Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
I think Jason Schwartzman's in there. Yeah. Willem Dafoe, Bill Murray. Great. All great voices. Yeah. Very funny. Very great time.
Yeah. It's a great movie. Well, my next movie was one that I honestly did not expect to like so much.
Okay.
It's Sorry to Bother You. This movie is, first of all, this movie is categorized under sci-fi, and I will not talk about why it is categorized under that, because that is the twist of the film. The twist of the film is that it is a sci-fi film.
Okay.
Dude, the twist in this movie is nightmare fuel. You will have nightmare. You might have nightmares about what they show in this movie. Well, it's basically about it's a dude, just a normal guy. It takes place in like a parallel Earth. So like there's like really like outlandish things that go on. Yeah. And in my review I kind of compared it to Everything Everywhere All at Once due to the fact that it's like not, it's got elements of like what their multiverse look like in this like main universe. Okay. So like there's a scene where these telemarketers, because he's part of a telemarketing company.
Yeah.
And all of the employees are like underpaid and stuff, so they're on strike. Mm-hmm. And Steven Yeun is in the movie too. Oh. And he's like leading the strike, and he's on TV, and he's like yelling stuff out that he's like, when do we want it? You know, we want it now or whatever, you know. And then he says something like you would never say on live television and would never be shown, and everyone in the audience just kind of stares at him. And then he clearly knows that he messed up, and he just goes back to saying what he was saying. So it's like very like outlandish like comedy and things that wouldn't happen in real life. Like there's a show on TV that's like kick the shit out of this person, and it's just dudes being beat up. But it's a really interesting film. The main character is played by Lakeith Stanfield, Lakeith Stanfield, he's in Get Out. Yeah. He plays the other black guy in the movie. Like honestly the only other one.
Yeah, literally the only other one. Yeah.
But it's the movie deals a lot of about racism and like a lot of like socialism and if that's the right word, I don't know. I guess that might not be the right word, but like basically the workforce, a lot of how like capitalism, I guess would be the right word. Also some existentialism. Okay. So it's a lot of like literally at the beginning of the movie, he's like, "Yo, you ever think about like what happens after you die?" The movie is like him wanting to basically like be someone in life.
Okay.
And so it's a very interesting told story, and it deals with these like concepts of racism and capitalism and stuff like that. It deals with it in such a way that I've never seen before. Like I can compare this movie to EEAAO as much as I want, but it's not like that movie at all. and it's nothing like any movie I've ever seen before. There's truly nothing to compare it to like as a movie. It's
Okay,
it's like it's its own thing completely all the way through. Um, but it's really good story. Army Hammer's in it. And it's basically, it literally is just about this guy is like starts out basically like not rock bottom, but like he's broke. He lives in his uncle's garage, and he works his way up in a job, and it basically shows that he's like becoming kind of worse of a person by taking advantage of like underpaid workers as he becomes like an overpaid worker basically.
Okay.
Um, and then it's like all about him like seeing the error in his ways and things.
Yeah.
But just the way it's told is so much. It's fun, and there are some emotional moments. But it's really unique, and especially with the twist of the movie, it's extremely unique. And I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie. It's not. I'm saying it right now. You think you might know what this movie's about going into it. Like even when it starts, like when he's like sitting at a job interview, you're like, oh, okay, I know what this movie might be about. No, you don't. You do not. No, but it's a lot of fun. Really good movie. Sorry to bother you. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get my 5th one this week. I only watched 4.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Usually I don't have them on 4, but that's all good. I will talk about a movie I believe we've already talked about on the podcast before, but Good Will Hunting. I won't say too much about this since we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
But this movie is incredible. This is a beautiful movie.
Oh yeah.
Obviously it's written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and they both star in it. Ben Affleck also, real quick, just side note, Ben Affleck does a good job. He's good in the movie too. But Matt Damon and Robin Williams are incredible in this movie. They're phenomenal. These are the two best performances from both these guys that I have ever seen. And Robin Williams, that's saying a lot because Robin Williams in almost every movie he's in is like beautiful. He's like perfect in everything he's in. But it's so real.
Bro, so real.
This might be like the realest movie I've ever seen. I honestly don't think I've seen.
Bro, Robin Williams' character is literally like the realest dude of all time, bro. He lays down the law, bro.
He does. He really does.
Bro says it's not about you, champ.
Oh, I love. He says Stellan Skarsgård's character. He's like, because he's like Stellan Skarsgård. He's real arrogant and prestigious,
successful, all that. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sorry you blame me for all your problems. And he's like, it's not about you, mathematical dick. It's so funny. It's the greatest insult ever. No, but these, like specifically Robin Williams, every time I don't know what it is. It's so good about like obviously his acting and the way the movie is written and directed that is by itself. Yes, Robin Williams has died, and that's sad. That's what makes his character. That's what makes it sad to watch him.
Yeah.
But even if he wasn't, even if he hadn't had died, this character is still like oozes sadness.
Yes.
Like I cried. I cried when he just like spoke about his wife. Like this, him talking about his life and stuff made me cry. Like that's all I did. No, but and this has some of the best dialogue, the best written.
The dialogue is amazing, man.
Like it's not like anything. It's not like delivered like quick. It's not like Tarantino where it's like quick like real conversational. It's like an argumentative kind of.
But it's more like raw.
It's
kind of
raw. Yeah. Exactly. It's raw, and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, every quote, like almost every line in this movie is like quotable.
Yeah. There's a lot of great quotes. Even Ben Affleck, he got some good quotes in there.
Yeah.
A young dude. Did you catch the like 18-year-old Casey Affleck as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the. He has some funny liners in there.
Yeah. My boy's wicked smart.
My boy's wicked smart.
Which before going into this, I thought Ben Affleck said that.
I thought Ben Affleck said it too when I went into it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
My boy's wicked smart. That's so funny. No, this movie it's literally perfect in every aspect. It has the full moment, of Ben Affleck telling him like, if you're still here, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm gonna go up to that door and you won't be there tomorrow. It's it's such amazing full circle moments, and the fact that the movie is like, it kind of shows you the different ways. Like obviously the movie is about how Matt Damon like is a genius. He's a super genius, but he doesn't want to do anything with that. He doesn't really. It's not special to him that he's a genius.
Yeah, that's not what he wants to like. That's not what's important to him. Yeah,
exactly.
That's not what he wants to pursue. Yeah.
And so I love that they both. It's incredible how they show him using his potential as a job, him going to become like use it in society.
Yeah, like what Stellan Skarsgård wants him to do.
And then also at the same time, almost in the exact same scene, going against it and being like, I actually don't really want to do that though.
Yeah.
So
more so kind of being like more so like Robin Williams' character living for himself. Living for what makes him happy kind of.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so beautifully written and directed and acted. And there's nothing wrong with this movie.
Dude, no,
that I can really think of, honestly. It's just so it is very real and powerful. Yeah.
Especially the Matt Damon and Robin Williams chemistry. Their scenes together are so great, man. The from the funny ones to the the fighting argumentative ones to the sad ones, all of them are quotable,
brilliant,
real, raw, and brilliant. Yeah Truly.
I love him when he's like, oh, you missed the baseball game to just hang out with some girl you just met, and it's like, well, that girl was my wife, and I would rather that than go see that game. That
was a good moment.
Incredible, like how he doesn't understand that feeling,
Yeah.
And then later in the movie, he kind of does.
Yeah.
Understand. Yeah. It's so. Oh, man, it's so good, and it's you're right. Every moment, every comedic and sad, every emotion is so perfect.
Bro, there's one scene specifically where like he goes where they talk about how his wife used to fart in her sleep.
Yes.
And they like laugh, bro. They do like this. They do the thing where like one person starts laughing and then they just start laughing harder and harder.
Yeah.
And they just like start like covering their face and like dying
that scene,
and stuff.
I didn't expect to like die laughing at that
scene.
Bro,
yeah, that scene is like contagious laughter, bro. Yeah. You watch that scene, it's so hard not to start laughing.
It really is. It really is hard. It's so funny. Because it's not like it isn't like the funniest scene in the world.
No, and that scene comes right after like a raw, like kind of breakthrough moment with Will Hunting and stuff like that. Because I remember, because I was literally crying. I was literally crying right before they had the whole, oh, my wife fought in a sleep joke and stuff. And I remember laughing, while I had like tears still in my eyes, kind of. That's
the best kind of moment, is when you're like laughing at a movie scene but like crying at the same time.
Bro,
that's how you know a movie got you.
Yeah.
Like that's how you know. Like,
bro, that ending, son of a bitch, stole my line. What an ending!
Incredible finale and ending. Oh,
great movie in general, man.
It's not your fault, dude.
Bro, no, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That scene had the most emotional reaction from me.
Me
probably.
Too, yeah.
Him just repeatedly saying it's not your fault. Bro, like, I feel like every single it's not your fault just felt like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Just hitting, bro.
Every time. It got harder.
Yeah.
It was like, it's not your fault. It's not your It just keeps getting harder. Yeah.
Bro.
Dude. And it's funny because that's the first time we see Will Hunting cry.
Yeah.
And seeing him cry, seeing this character who's like been very like violent and angry the entire movie, seeing him cry and break down and be vulnerable is like,
it's big.
incredible. I gave it a 10. Yeah, it's like it's nothing less than a 10. Yeah, Good Will Hunting. Incredible film.
Beautiful.
Well, I think we've come to the end of another episode here on the Cinemaniacs podcast. Yeah, you're meditating. You're meditating right now. Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Maceo Movies.
You can find me at Instagram at Lotta Reviews.
Yes, and you can find us both, our podcast, on Instagram at Cinemaniacs Pod. You can find me on TikTok at Maceo. And you can find us on TikTok as the Cinemaniacs Pod. Also, check out my YouTube channel where I post reviews and I sometimes post different kinds of videos, also under the same name of Maceo. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this podcast today. I suppose we will catch you guys in the next one.
Adios.
Adios, amigo. The Cinemaniacs Podcast.